Former Salisbury police officer who resigned after a controversial video showed him mishandling his canine partner is now working for the Union County Sheriff's Office. James Hampton was recently sworn in as a deputy sheriff during a ceremony in July. Hampton resigned from the Salisbury Police Department in 2021 after a viral video you're looking at here showed him lifting his canine off the ground by its leash and striking the dog. No criminal charges were filed.
Rosa police say this was a murder that involved domestic violence and 2 Sonoma County Sheriff's employees. This tragedy has now left 3 children without parents. It began at about 7 Sunday night with a 911 call to Santa Rosa police from a woman who lives in an apartment complex near Quigg Drive and Acacia Lane.
The female resident said that a man had come down to her apartment, handed her an infant, and said call 911 because the infant's mother was hurt badly.
Police forced their way inside the apartment and found the 8-month-old boy's mother, 34-year-old Mary Bonici, dead on a couch from at least 1 gunshot wound. Officers also found her 2 16-month-old twin girls inside. All 3 children were physically unharmed. Police determined the suspect was off-duty Sonoma County Sheriff's Deputy Jeremy Lyle, a 10-year department veteran and father of all 3 children who were not hurt. His ex is a civilian detention specialist for the Sheriff's Office.
She adored her 3 kids. They were her entire world. She was deeply devoted to them and loved taking them on walks and getting pastries with them in the morning.
A half hour after the shooting, police and deputies found Lyle armed with a gun in his dually truck near the coroner's office off Shanate Road. The SWAT team and negotiators came to the scene, but Santa Rosa Police Sergeant Patricia Seffen said he refused to cooperate.
Officers did observe that he appeared to have a handgun in his hand and holding it behind his back. Negotiations proved unsuccessful. Mr. Lyle did not peacefully surrender.
At 2 early Monday morning, Lyle shot and killed himself. The 2 Sheriff's Office employees have been domestic partners. I've learned from court records she filed a petition 2 months ago to end the partnership. She had custody of the children and he lived elsewhere. Her attorney declined to comment. Police would not say if he left a note or said anything indicating motive.
We just really want to remind people that if they or someone they know are experiencing domestic violence, there are resources available.
I saw 2 cop cars racing down this street.
A woman who lives nearby and did not want to go on camera was stunned when we told her that a sheriff's deputy was suspected in a murder-suicide.
It's terrifying and horrible. It's unnerving, especially when they're supposed to be protecting the public.
Now, police recovered 2 personal guns from the deputy and his truck, including the one they say was used in both shootings. Live in Santa Rosa, Henry Lee, KTVU, Fox Studios.
All right, thank you, Henry.
Good morning, and welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m. bright and early right here at home on the range. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. I really appreciate it. All right, we're going to start it out talking about this cop here. You can call him Ty, or you can call him Ray. You can call him Ty Ray. But just don't call him for Thanksgiving dinner, because this turkey is going to be sitting in jail, allegedly. Okay. And it says here, an Anderson police officer is facing federal cane charges and gun charges, and he resigns the day after he's arrested. I wonder if he's watching the Bad Apple Report. We'll find out. Anderson, Indiana, a former Anderson police officer is facing federal charges for allegedly distributing and using a gun while he did it. Whoa. Ty Wilson is his name. He's 29. He resigned from the Anderson Police Department on August 5th, the same day he was arrested on federal charges, according to our partners here at the Herald Bulletin. Those are our partners, all right. According to the federal court document, Wilson was arrested after an undercover operation with a paid informant. The informant told the FBI that he'd purchased from Wilson in the past. The FBI gave them money to pay for more cocaine and had him wear a recording device while they bought more drugs from Wilson. And according to the FBI, the informant also took video during the investigation. That allegedly showed Wilson with a handgun on the table as he sold the cocaine to the informant. Oh, man, this guy is like Scarface. Dumb. Court documents show that Wilson's police cruiser was parked in his driveway when the informant started trying to buy the cocaine from him. Zero respect for the badge there, buddy. Another man, Duncan Harmon, is also facing the same federal charges for allegedly helping Wilson with the cocaine. And Wilson is the 3rd member of his family to serve with the Anderson PD. Oh, making them all proud. I bet All of his family members did the same thing, allegedly. The documents also state that he was suspended without pay for 90 days in 2020 after being charged with operating a vehicle while intoxicated. Wilson allegedly, so they knew for sure the guy is a bad apple, and they just suspend him for 9 days. It's just amazing to me, you guys. Okay, Wilson allegedly arrived at the police station 3 hours late for a shift and tested positive for alcohol in that case. Oh, but the case was dismissed in 2021. Okay, according to the court documents, the day after the case was dismissed, Wilson was again arrested for OWI. He ended up pleading guilty to that charge and was given a 60-day suspended sentence and had to pay a $400 fine. Listen, the problem with this guy is everybody who has ever hired him, everybody who's ever worked with him. So the Anderson Police Department is a bunch of losers. Serious bad apple machine. Okay, thanks for being here, folks. Let's move on with the show.
A former Harris County jailer is wanted tonight in a luxury car theft scheme.
That jailer resigned earlier this year while under investigation, and now she is accused of using her uniform to steal thousands. KPRC2's Bryce Newberry has a story you'll see only on 2 tonight.
This former detention officer is one of 2 people charged. She resigned during an internal affairs investigation for getting too friendly with an inmate earlier this year, and a law enforcement source tells me that same inmate is now her co-defendant in this theft scheme. From this garage to a Facebook Marketplace post to the Katy Freeway, this white Lexus ES300 has taken quite a ride and is now at the center of a theft scheme involving a former employee of the Harris County Sheriff's Office.
It was a whole fiasco.
Top-tier fleet owner Christopher Orgy posted this video of the 2022 sedan in late July, one of many cars that his company rents out on behalf of owners.
She didn't have anything wrong with her record, so everything really checked out.
The car got rented quickly.
I wasn't worried at first until the tracker went dead.
But the renters stopped responding and got to work even quicker, posting this ad on Facebook Marketplace using what appears to be an AI profile photo under a different name to sell the car for 10 grand.
It looked like a very good deal. Of course it looked, a little bit too good to be true.
The buyer, who didn't want to be identified, met the women who rented the Lexus and, while skeptical, even test drove the dream car.
I was raised to trust the cops, and she kept saying, I'm law enforcement, in a uniform.
Now charged is 23-year-old Stevie Mosley, who presented this official badge to the buyer while wearing her HCSO uniform and armored vest, according to records. That built the buyer's trust, he says, but 4 months earlier, Mosley resigned from HCSO while under investigation for getting too close with inmate Andrea Johnson, according to a law enforcement source, and she too is charged in the fraudulent sale.
To just trick me with some uniform, but it's a real uniform, so it's kind of like I'm ashamed.
It's ridiculous. I don't think this is something that anyone should be dealing with.
The rental company triggered a kill switch on the car, so the buyer had it towed to this dealership on the west side. After losing 18 grand to the women, he realized the car was still owned by someone not with a badge or uniform, someone he hadn't even met.
They should not let their uniform to just be loose out there, their ID to just be loose out there. Who knows what else he's doing right now with that ID?
The sheriff's office tells me when an employee resigns, they're expected to return their gear, but for some reason, that never happened with this former jailer.
This morning, a former corrections officer here in Jacksonville is in custody, accused in a domestic disturbance. We've learned Michael Lane was arrested in Clay County on last Friday, according to the Clay County Sheriff's Office. The victim told police the suspect beat her up and she had visible injuries. Investigators say the victim and suspect do know each other, but they did not specify their relationship. The 19-year-old suspect was employed with the Corrections Department for just over a year. He has since separated from the agency.
Who doesn't love to hear a good story about a bad Border Patrol agent? This one here, well, he's a bad Border Patrol agent because he was charged with drunkenly assaulting a Long Beach cop. But it's a great story because this is that same Border Patrol agent who arrested a U.S. citizen in Pico Rivera. All right. It says here, no one is above the law, regardless of their position or badge. An off-duty United States Border Patrol officer was charged with assaulting a Long Beach police officer, as well as resisting arrest, the Los Angeles County District Attorney Office announced. Isaiah Anthony Hodgson. Oh, Hodgson. He's age 29. He's facing multiple felony and misdemeanor charges, including 3 felony counts of resisting arrest, 1 felony count of battery on a peace officer, and various misdemeanor charges for allegedly carrying a concealed firearm. A lawyer for Adrian Martinez, a 20-year-old American citizen who was arrested by federal agents in a Walmart parking lot last month, said in a statement that Hodgson was, quote, involved in the arrest of his client. The agent happened to not have a mask on that day of Adrian's arrest, and because of that, he was quickly identified and connected to the incident in Long Beach. Well, whoa. Says here, though, the conduct exhibited by Mr. Hodgson, a Border Patrol agent who has the duty to uphold. Oh, what am I reading that for? Listen, that's about it before we hit the paywall. So I can just tell you right now, we're getting our money's worth out of this guy. All right? He's not worth 99 cents to finish out the story. Let's just have a look at him for a second. All right? He looks like a pendejo. A pinche cabrón. Okay, I gotta hope the YouTube censors don't understand like broken Spanish. Okay, you guys are awesome. We're moving on with the show.
The 2006 murder of an Aurora police officer is among the cases in which a now retired detective had documents stashed at his home.
The question now in that case, or many others, could it be affected by the discovery of 30 boxes of documents in the former investigator's crawl space? The files covered more than 90 cases the investigator was involved in during his 41-year law enforcement career. Kevin Vaughn from 9 News Investigates joins us. You've been going through all of this for a few days now, Kevin. So what's significant about the murder of this fellow officer?
Kim and Sam, it's this. The man who was convicted of killing that officer has been behind bars for nearly 20 years, but he has a pending appeal, and these files have the potential to become part of that effort.
September 2006, an Aurora police officer grappled with the loss of a colleague. Officer Michael Thomas was a 24-year veteran and a Medal of Honor recipient.
We are in mourning.
In street clothes and at the wheel of his personal car, a gunman killed him at a stoplight as he was headed to a police training center. An Adams County jury convicted Brian Washington of second-degree murder and other charges, and a judge sentenced him to 80 years in prison. He remains behind bars today. But he's hoping to get back into a courtroom with an appeal that's pending. And 9 News legal analyst Scott Robinson says the revelation that a detective in the case had documents at his house could come into play.
If the lawyer handling the appeal wants to do so, they can ask the Court of Appeals to send the case back down to the trial court to determine whether there is new information that might help their client.
Even if that happens, however, there's a bigger question.
Only if there were documents that were withheld from the defense will it matter that the detective took file materials, case materials home.
Oh, get a load of this guilty-looking SOB. He's the one. He's the former police officer. He's a champion shooter. Oh, I bet he's going to be a champion soap gripper, because he's been arrested on child charges. He's going to be gripping that soap, allegedly. After a months-long investigation, deputies arrested 43-year-old Robert Golden Vogel, that's his name, and charged him with pandering, obscenity involving a minor, disrupting public services, and furnishing to an underage. Oh, Vogel. Vogel was an officer for over a decade and was also a firearms instructor for SWAT. Imagine that. According to his website. Oh, you guys, he has a website. That's awesome. Aw. The website, which lists his birthday, matches his booking information. He's being held on a $250,000 bond. Oh, Vogel, you guilty-looking SOB. Okay, he's going to get his grip on, allegedly. Let's move on with the show.
We all agree that the Massachusetts State Police needs to be held accountable. The public agrees with that. And our troopers, I can assure you, agree with that.
Noble made the final decision to fire former trooper Michael Proctor back in March.
She's a whack job.
Because of his inappropriate text messages and his handling of the investigation into Boston police officer John O'Keefe's death.
That's a decision that's got my name on it, and I stand behind that decision. Our mission needs to be laser focused on finding the truth. Period. Hard stop. That's what the mission of a detective is to uncover the truth, regardless of what direction that it takes you.
So in that case in particular, is the takeaway that perhaps Proctor's mission was not just to find the truth?
We identified areas where I think being specific to our core mission, a reminder to our core mission, is appropriate here.
In fact, Noble says systemic changes have come from Proctor's firing, specifically new mandatory extra training for investigators.
So we just put our troopers who were assigned to investigations, about 500 or so troopers, through that first exercise, through that first training. That's new. And that's not going to stop with one training. That's going to be a continuing process that will occur, certainly as long as I am here.
Other fallout he's overseen in Norfolk County, troopers Brian Tully and Yuri Buchanek moved out of the DA's office this year. Was that your call or was that the DA's call?
Ultimately, the transfer of troopers lies with me. Putting new commanders, new supervisors in key positions, particularly in Norfolk County, I firmly believe was in the best interest, was a decision in the best interest of the Commonwealth.
Karen Reed was acquitted of most charges in June. It's pretty clear that state police, based on their investigation, as well as prosecutors in this case, believed that Karen Reed was responsible for John O'Keefe's death. Do you feel as though state police's performance in that investigation contributed to the lack of conviction at the end of the day?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The investigative body has to look through that and to say why. Did we not give the jurors enough information? Did our mechanisms that we had in play to report that information, was our investigation lacking? So I think we, the state police, have to look in the mirror and say, yeah, what could we have done better?
So do you feel confident saying now that if a situation like the death of John O'Keefe, something similar were to happen tomorrow, that it would be handled differently?
I have every bit of confidence sitting here today that our investigations right now are being done to excellent standards right now.
You wanted the worst, you got the worst. Right here at home on the range, on the Bad Apple Report. This guy's the worst in Evansville. He's a former Henderson police officer, and he's facing drunk driving charges after Evansville police say he was driving down Green River Road with no headlights on. Police say 49-year-old Gregory Durbin, that's his name, he was driving on the Green River around 2:53 a.m. on Sunday, and he passed by an officer. After catching up to Durbin, the officer was able to pull him over, and it says officers say they could smell alcohol on Durbin, and after giving him a portable breathalyzer test, they discovered that his blood alcohol levels 0.186. Whoa! EPD says Durbin originally told them that he had a couple of beers 4 hours prior before admitting to having 2 drinks before leaving a friend's house. Oh, get your story straight, Durbin. Durbin was sentenced and taken to the Vanderburgh County Jail, where he was charged with drunk driving. Okay, and that's our last bad apple of the day. Thank you so much for being here to watch the show, folks. I really appreciate you a lot. And I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. bright and early. Have a great day.